Hi, my name is Stephen McGee and I'm the author of Health Forensics. And we're here to review this experiment. Now, a few years ago, the Itron 100G transmitting gas meter was installed into my community. So I put a Faraday cage around it, and inside that Faraday cage I placed these two plants. Now you can see that they're quite different from each other, and that's because they were in different positions within the Faraday cage. So let's have a little look at the one on the left. And the other thing is there are slightly different species of Dieffenbachia, but this is how this one is growing, and it's not growing normally. So the Dieffenbachia has leaves the size of your hand, and this has miniature leaves. So this is quite typical of growth that I see at my home, because my home is in a radio wave field from a lot of radio frequency devices that are installed in and around the community. So there's nothing too unusual about this particular Dieffenbachia. That's more of a normal Dieffenbachia for my home. And this one, I put it on top of the Itron 100G radio frequency transmitting gas meter. So basically the roots got a very high powered pulsed radio frequency exposure, and we've got this miniature looking Dieffenbachia plant. So this one is quite different. So you can see it's twice the size, and its leaves are twice the size also. So let me put my hand in the picture. So you can see that leaf is almost fully grown, and it's the way the Dieffenbachia is supposed to grow. So it's got very dull leaves, lots of patterning, and they fill your hand. That is the way the Dieffenbachia is supposed to grow. I find this plant bizarre because this is about the only plant that I've ever actually been able to get to grow full-size leaves in my home. And the only thing that I can put it down to is that I put it in a Faraday cage underneath an Itron 100G transmitting radio frequency meter. So it appears that exposure did something very, very strange to the plant. So its base was sitting down on the soil, and the plant was actually directly underneath the Itron 100G. So that meant the bulk of the radio frequency exposure that it was getting from the Itron 100G was through its leaves and stem structure. And it's produced a Dieffenbachia that grows normally in the high-powered radio wave field that is throughout my home. And I've never actually seen a Dieffenbachia grow like this in my home. It's a very unique plant. So it appears that if you actually put a radiation source in the right place inside of a Faraday cage with a plant, that you can do something quite bizarre to its biological makeup, and it becomes very, very tolerant to radio frequency exposure when nothing else around it is tolerant to radio frequency exposure. So it's a very unique plant, and as I say, I was very, very surprised to actually see how this one developed over the years. So let's take a little look back. So we've got both plants, and you can clearly see the one on the left is very deformed in comparison to the one on the right. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I wish you the very best of health. Thank you.